Hello dear students, today I am with another video for you for the lesson The Age of Guptas. First comes the Golden Age. The Gupta age was known as the Golden Age because in different subjects the Gupta rulers and the Gupta people flourished. The Gupta period started in the year 320 and up to 540 the Guptas were the rulers, and this period is described as the Golden Age or the Classical Age or the Brahmanical Renaissance because of the high level of civilization and culture of this period. It flourished in the field of science, literature, mathematics, astronomy, astrology, culture, religion, and everything. Along with the revival of Hinduism, the corrections were made in the wrong Brahmanical faith known as the revival of Hinduism. And the power of creativity was unleashed in the field of education. In the field of literature, arts, architecture, science, and at the same time extending this influence beyond the India's frontiers. It was not within the country, also spread to different other parts of the country. So the age of the Guptas was known as the age of Golden Age. First comes the education. We will study about different subjects like literature, science, mathematics, astronomy, astrology, and medicine prospered during the period. And one of the important universities of the period was Nalanda University. Besides, there was Vikramasila University, the Takshashila University, but the most important one is the Nalanda University, and we have this in the part of scope of syllabus. So let's study the Nalanda University. The Nalanda University is situated near Rajgriha in Bihar. It was probably the highest seat of Buddhist learning because Buddhism had flourished during the time. It was flourishing, and different neighboring countries' students were also coming here to learn Buddhism. And it was established as a Buddhist monastery probably during the reign of Kumaragupta, who succeeded Chandragupta II. And it had about 1500 professors, 10,000 students. Some eminent people like Panini, Jibaka, and Chanakya are said to have been students of these universities. During the Gupta age, education was given utmost importance. The rulers patronized the students and learners, and they gave importance to education. So, from the intellectual output in various fields like literature, Kalidas was the most honored poet of the period. Science, mathematics, astronomy, astrology, and medicine. These were different fields where the students excelled during the period who were the students of Nalanda University. The Nalanda University was the most famous educational institution of ancient India. At Nalanda, it's situated at Nalanda, the city, in the Rajgriha district in Bihar. Information about Nalanda University is found in the inscriptions and also an account by another Chinese visitor, Huan Sang. A Chinese visitor we had learnt in the beginning, whose account tells about the Gupta ruling, that is Fahian. Another one had later visited India during the reign of Harshavardhana. The Chinese visitor was Huan Sang, a Chinese Buddhist scholar who visited India during the reign of Harshavardhana. After the Guptas, the rule of Vardhanas began, and Harshavardhana had begun his ruling from the year 606 AD. So, during the period of Harshavardhana, he came. By the time the Nalanda University was flourishing. It had many students. What Huen-Sa saw about the university, he had mentioned in the account. Next comes, what is the university campus like? It had imposing buildings where at least 8 colleges were there. Somewhere it is mentioned that the buildings were almost 6-storied buildings. 8 colleges were built, and one of the college was built by the Sumatran king Balaputra Deva. The Balaputra Deva was a king from Sumatra, had built one of the colleges out of those 8. The university had 3 great libraries with plenty of books. The name of the libraries were Ratna Sagara, Ratna Dodhi, and Ratna Ranjak. So remember the 3 libraries of the Nalanda universities. There were more than 10,000 students and 1,500 teaching faculty members and teachers coming from different parts of the world. The students and teachers were from different parts of the world. Most of the teachers were from India, but also from different parts also they had come. The parts they had come from, like Korea, Mongolia, Japan, China, Tibet, Ceylon, and from various different parts of Indian states. These were the people of different countries coming to study in Nalanda universities. The subjects taught in the universities were the 4 Vedas, the logic, it is like philosophy, grammar, medicine, Sankhya, yoga, Nyaya, and some of the Buddhist works, like whatever they found from the Buddhist scriptures, the Tripitakas and Jatakas. Some of their work were also studied in the universities. It was a postgraduate institution. Today we call a university to those institutions have postgraduate studies. It was a postgraduate institution. Admission to this university was very, very tough during the period, to which admission was done through a very difficult entrance examination. Hardly 20% of the students who were appearing the entrance examinations were getting through or were passing the examination, because the entrance examination was that tough, in which hardly 20% students used to pass. In the 12th century, it was destroyed by Muhammad bin Bakhtiyar Khilji. Because of his destruction, this has been left as a ruin today. Even today, we find the ruins of the Nalanda University. Such a great university was found in India, and such subjects were taught to the students, and the teachers who came to teach for them. Lodging and boarding facilities were all free. Students were also not paying any fees for their studies, but the money is supplied to them by the funds collected by the scholars. The kings used to donate, and different foreign countries were also providing donations for the running of these universities. This is all about the Nalanda University, which had many choice of many subjects for study, and it was destroyed by Muhammad bin Bakhtiyar Khalji. He was a general of Muhammad Ghori. This university had helped to spread Indian culture in foreign countries, such as those who were coming to study, like that of Tibet, China, and parts of Mongolia or Central Asia, and different parts of the world. In the next class, we will go for the culture and literature and science. With this, we stop now. Keep learning. Bye-bye.